Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. It's Ro. Today I am going to be giving you a tutorial of how I made my coffin box that I have been posting over on my Instagram. This is how it looks. This is a prototype that I made. The one that we're making, it's mostly the same except for the closure. I changed it a bit. I'm just giving you a quick look at how it looks when I open it, because I believe I haven't shared yet how it looks inside, how you open it. So that's how it looks. Okay, to start off, we are going to cut 2 pieces of paper and we are going to cut it into 9 by 5.5. So you need 2 9 by 5.5 cardstocks. Next thing we do is we are going to score it. On the short side, we are going to score at 1.5 and 4. You will also be scoring the same way on the other paper. So you will score at 1.5 by 4, and then you're going to turn it to the long side and you will score it at 3.5. Next thing we do is we're going to cut our diagonal sides for the coffin, and what we're doing is we're going to cut the corners using those 2 points, the 1.5 and the 3.5, as our guide. I hope that made sense, but if you look closely you will see what I'm talking about. You will do the same on the other side. So that's going to be the bottom part of our coffin. Again, you will do the same thing for the other paper. Once you're done making both the coffins, you'll put that aside, and the next thing we're doing is we're going to be cutting the strips. You'll also be making 2 of these. So the first one is you will be scoring a 3 by 11 piece of cardstock, and you will score at 0.5 to 0.5. That's on the short side, and on the long side you will score at 0.5, 6, and 9.5. So again, on the short side, that's 0.5, 2.5. On the long side, 0.5, 6, and 9.5. And these 2 are 3 by 11 cardstocks. Now we're doing our snip snips. We'll do the same thing for the other one. So next thing we do is we're going to cover our coffin bases with our printed paper. For this project, I'm going to be using the new Luna collection by Garcia. And I'm going to be mixing a piece of cardstock, plain cardstock as well. I am going to be using the paper tearing technique again. I'm done gluing the paper. I sewed them, and now I am gonna cover them with this holographic paper placemat I got from Walmart. I believe it was last year. I thought it was so cute. And there you go. I also sewed it, which took quite a while. And now I'm just cutting the edges. For the other paper, it's gonna be the back of my box, so I'm not gonna do the same thing that I did for the front cover. Next thing we're doing is the tricky part. So if you're watching this, I would recommend that you pause it just so you can understand what I'm doing. It's quite hard to like tell you, but I'll try to explain. So for the strips, for one of the strips, you cut it how I did, that two sections, and you're left with that one section and the flap. You put that aside, and now we are going to cut, we're going to cut a 3x2 cardstock, and that's going to be our bottom. It's the bottom of the strip, and you will be scoring that on the long side. You will be scoring it .5 on both sides. There you go. Now what you're gonna do is you take that longer strip and you will connect that paper that we just cut. You will connect it to the section, to the biggest section of that strip. I guess that's what we're gonna call it, because if you look at the sections, there's a small, there's a medium, and a large one. So you connect that piece to the large section. A little later, you'll be able to see how it looks once I connected everything. Once you're done with that, you will connect that other large section on our right. You're going to connect that one to this section we're working on right now. I was just trimming the sides, the flaps. Again, if you have any questions while you're making this, shoot me a DM and I will help you. There you go. We're going to connect. Trying to form it, figure out, because I lost my picture, my guide to make this part. Next thing we're doing is we end up cutting this one, the small part. Next, you put that aside, and we are going to cut another cardstock, which is going to be a 3x3 cardstock, and you will score it at 0.5 on all sides. We do the snips, and we are going to connect this to our strip. I believe this is going to be the top. Okay, so remember that small section we cut off? This is where we are going to attach this new section that we just made. Once you're done with that, we are now going to attach the remaining strip that we have, and you're going to attach the bigger section. Again, you're going to attach the bigger section. So the end will be the small section from the smaller strip. This is how it's gonna look. Please take a look, take a closer look, so you know what you're going to glue together. Shaping it, making sure that we got it right. Once we're done with that, we are going to cover the whole strip with our paper, printed paper. And you'll see here that I covered it except the flaps. And the next thing we're going to be doing is attaching that strip to our coffin bases. I will start with the front, and never mind, I start with the back. Oh, yeah, because I remember that I wanted my opening to be on the right side. So, yeah. Also, take a look at this. You so you know what to attach to the bottom. Once you figure out what to attach where, then we start gluing everything together. then we glue our cover, the front cover. This is even a trickier because now you have to open that flap, the closure, and you have to make sure that it sticks the right way. The last part we're doing is we're going to be punching a hole to make our closure. That's what I did. I punched a hole on the flap You just have to line the two ends together to make so you know that it closes the right way. I do apologize that a lot of times I'm off camera. For this one, I'm just lining up the corners and trying to figure out where to punch. I punched the holes. I just die cut some reinforcements. I used KS Crafts reinforcement dice for this one. for the closure for this one, what I did was I just inserted a bead inside a, I'm not sure how long the seam binding was, but I just inserted it in the middle. And then what I'm doing is I'm going to pull both sides of the seam binding, and the bead will act as a stopper so it doesn't come out, like the whole seam binding doesn't come out. You'll see it here. See, so the bead acts as a stopper. And after that, I am going to insert those two corners of the seam binding to the other hole, and that would be my closure. And there you go, we are almost done, and all we need to do is just to make the handles. I mean the handle, because we only need to make one. So for the handle, you are going to be cutting a 1x6 plain cardstock and 0.75 by 575 printed paper. You will also be scoring the plain cardstock at 1 inch on both sides. And all I did was glue them together. And then after that, what I did was I added some glass ball charms to the handle, and next thing we're doing is we're going to be gluing the handle onto the box. And there you have it. I also added some gold studs. And that's how it looks. All we need to do is to decorate it. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!